Most people want to change their circumstances, but they're unwilling to change themselves. They want more money, but they don't want to become more valuable. They want more success, but they don't want to become more disciplined. Folks, that's just not how it works. I remember talking to a young man once who told me, Mr. Rohn, I sure wish I had your success. And I told him, well, you can, but you've got to do what I did. He asked what that was, and I said, everything. Everything I did to get here. The room got quiet after that. See, everybody wants the harvest, but few are willing to plant the seeds. Now, let's talk about this idea of forcing yourself to work hard. Force is an interesting word, isn't it? It implies resistance. It implies pushing against something that's pushing back. And that's exactly what growth feels like. If it were easy, everyone would do it. But it's not easy, it's necessary. I want to share with you today some fundamental principles about work ethic that have transformed not only my life, but the lives of countless individuals I've had the privilege to mentor. These aren't complex strategies or secret formulas. They're simple truths that, when applied consistently, produce extraordinary results. The philosophy of work. First, we need to understand what work really is. Work isn't just what you do to get a paycheck. Work is how you contribute value to the world. It's how you take the raw materials of your time, your talents, and your energy and convert them into something worthwhile. The quality of your work determines the quality of your life. I've always said that you don't get paid for the hour, you get paid for the value you bring to the hour. Some people work an hour and get paid a fortune. Others work an hour and get paid pennies. The difference isn't time, it's value. You know what amazes me? The same people who complain about their paycheck often give less than their best at work. They arrive late, leave early, and do just enough not to get fired, and then they wonder why opportunity doesn't knock on their door. Folks, opportunity doesn't knock, it hangs out with achievement. I learned early in my life from my mentor, Mr. Schoaf, that success is something you attract, not something you chase. And you attract success by becoming a person of value. The marketplace pays value, and it pays generously for exceptional value. Now, here's a critical distinction. There's a difference between making a living and designing a life. Making a living is trading time for money. Designing a life is investing in yourself so that your value increases over time. One leads to a paycheck, the other leads to a fortune. The discipline of hard work. Let me tell you about discipline. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. You can have all the goals in the world, all the dreams, all the aspirations, but without discipline, they're just fantasies. Discipline means doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. Most people wait until they feel like working hard before they do. But here's the secret. Action precedes motivation, not the other way around. You don't wait until you feel like it. You start, and then the feeling comes. I remember when I first started my career, I wasn't naturally disciplined. I had to develop it. I had to force myself to get up early to make those extra calls, to study when others were relaxing. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. And over time, what began as force became habit. And what was habit became character. You see, we must all suffer from one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The difference is that discipline weighs ounces while regret weighs tons. Which would you prefer? The beauty of discipline is that it compounds. Small, consistent actions repeated day after day create massive results over time. It's like the story of the bamboo tree. You plant it and water it for 5 years and nothing happens, at least nothing you can see. But in the 5th year, it grows 90 feet in 6 weeks. Was it the 6 weeks of growth or the 5 years of foundation building? The answer is obvious. The value of difficulty. Let's talk about difficulty for a moment. Most people try to avoid difficult things. They choose the path of least resistance. But here's what's fascinating. The things that are most difficult to do are often the things that are most valuable to have done. Difficulty is not a sign to retreat. It's an opportunity to grow. When you push through difficulty, you develop strength. When you solve complex problems, you develop intelligence. When you navigate challenging relationships, you develop emotional wisdom. I've never met a successful person who hasn't had to overcome significant obstacles. In fact, I've found that success is directly proportional to the number and size of the problems you're willing to deal with. When I was starting out, I faced rejection after rejection. I had doors slammed in my face. I had people tell me I wouldn't amount to much, but I decided that my future was worth more than my feelings. I decided that temporary discomfort was a small price to pay for long-term success. You know what's interesting? The marketplace doesn't reward comfort. It rewards value. And value is often created through discomfort, through pushing boundaries, taking risks, and doing what others are unwilling to do. The power of consistency. Now let's talk about consistency. Consistency is the ultimate power in creating success. It's not what you do once in a while, it's what you do day after day that shapes your future. I often tell the story of two farmers. Both pray for rain, but only one prepares his fields. Which one are you going to bet on? Preparation without action is pointless, and action without consistency leads nowhere. The challenge with consistency is that the results aren't immediate. You don't go to the gym once and get fit. You don't read one book and become educated. You don't make one sales call and build a fortune. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Progressive means it happens over time, step by step, day by day. Many people underestimate the impact of small, consistent actions. They think, what difference does it make if I read 10 pages today? Well, 10 pages a day is 300 pages a month. That's several books a year. In 5 years, you've read more than most people read in a lifetime. What if you saved just $100 a month? In 20 years, with modest interest, you'd have accumulated tens of thousands of dollars. Small amounts invested consistently over time create fortunes. The necessity of personal growth. One of the most important principles I've learned is that success follows personal growth. Your income rarely exceeds your personal development. If you want more, you must become more. This is why I'm such an advocate for reading, for attending seminars, for seeking out mentors. These aren't expenses, they're investments in your most valuable asset, yourself. I've been teaching this philosophy for decades now, and I've seen extraordinary transformations in people who embrace it. People who were once struggling financially now run successful businesses. People who were once shy and insecure now command rooms with their presence. People who were once unhealthy and overweight now radiate vitality. What changed? They changed. They invested in themselves. They forced themselves to work hard on their greatest project, their own potential. You see, the greatest gift you can give to the world is your own development. As you grow, your capacity to contribute grows. As your capacity to contribute grows, your rewards grow. It's a beautiful cycle of value creation and value receiving. The challenge of starting where you are. Many people never start because they're waiting for perfect conditions. They say, when I have more time, or when I have more money, or when the kids are older. But there will never be a perfect time. You must start where you are with what you have. I started with nothing, no money, no connections, no advantages. What I did have was a burning desire to improve and a willingness to work. That was enough. Everything else came as a result of those two things. You don't need more resources, you need more resourcefulness. You don't need more time, you need more focus. You don't need more opportunity, you need more preparation. The question isn't, can I? The question is, will I? Will you force yourself to work hard even when no one is watching? Will you invest in yourself even when it's inconvenient? Will you persist even when results are slow in coming? Your answer to these questions will determine your future more than any external circumstance ever could. The reality of competition. In today's world, competition is fierce. The marketplace doesn't reward average. Average is available in abundance. The marketplace rewards excellence, uniqueness, exceptional value. To succeed, you must stand out. And standing out requires work, hard work. It requires developing skills that others don't have, providing service that others don't provide, solving problems that others can't solve. I often hear people complain about competition as if it's unfair, but competition isn't the problem, it's the reality. You can either rise to meet it or be crushed by it. The choice is yours. What's fascinating is that the very things people complain about, hard work, persistence, continual learning, are the things that would set them apart if they embraced them instead of avoided them. The mindset of prosperity. Let me talk about mindset for a moment. Your mindset, your beliefs, your attitudes, your expectations determines your actions more than anything else. If you believe that success is possible for you, you'll act differently than if you believe it's out of reach. If you believe that hard work pays off, you'll approach it differently than if you see it as punishment. I've found that prosperous people share certain mindset characteristics. First, they take full responsibility for their lives. They don't blame circumstances, other people, or the system for their results. They understand that while they can't control everything that happens to them, they can control their response. Second, they focus on contribution rather than acquisition. They ask, how can I provide more value? Rather than how can I get more stuff? They understand that income follows value, not the other way around. Third, they embrace problems as opportunities. When they encounter obstacles, they don't retreat, they get resourceful. They know that every problem solved is value created. Fourth, they invest in themselves continuously. They understand that their earning ability is directly tied to their learning ability. They never stop growing, never stop improving. Developing this mindset isn't easy. It requires conscious effort. It requires challenging your existing beliefs and replacing them with more empowering ones. But the payoff is enormous. The art of time management. Now, let's talk about time. Time is our most precious resource. We all have the same amount, 24 hours a day, 168 hours a week. The difference in results comes from how we use that time. Poor people spend their time, rich people invest their time. Poor people let time slip away on low-value activities. Rich people guard their time jealously and direct it toward high-value activities. One of the most important skills you can develop is the ability to distinguish between activity and productivity. Activity is doing stuff. Productivity is doing the right stuff. I recommend a simple exercise. For 1 week, track how you spend every hour. Then review and ask yourself, is this the best use of my time? Is this moving me toward my goals or away from them? You might be shocked by what you discover. Most people waste hours each day on activities that produce little or no value: mindless social media, excessive TV watching, unproductive conversations. Imagine taking just 2 of those wasted hours each day and investing them in high-value activities, learning a new skill, building a side business, strengthening important relationships. The compound effect over months and years would be staggering. The power of association. Who you spend time with matters enormously. Jim Rohn, that's me, is known for saying you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This isn't just a catchy phrase, it's a profound truth. The people around you influence your thinking, your beliefs, your standards, and ultimately your actions. If you're surrounded by lazy, negative, small-thinking people to pull you down, if you're surrounded by hardworking, positive, ambitious people, it will pull you up. This doesn't mean you should abandon friends or family who aren't successful. It means you should consciously seek out relationships with people who inspire and challenge you. It means you should find mentors, join mastermind groups, attend events where successful people gather. Remember, association works subtly. You pick up habits, attitudes, and ways of thinking almost by osmosis. Make sure what you're absorbing is what you want to become. The journey of financial independence? Let me share some thoughts about money. Money isn't everything, but it affects everything. Money gives you options, freedom, the ability to help others, and security for your family. Building wealth isn't about greed. It's about creating value and being properly compensated for that value. It's about being a good steward of resources. The path to financial independence starts with understanding some basic principles. First, spend less than you earn. This sounds simple, but most people violate this principle. They let lifestyle inflation eat up every raise and bonus. Discipline yourself to live below your means, not at or above them. Second, invest the difference. Make your money work for you. Learn about investing, about compounding, about assets versus liabilities. Most people work for money their entire lives. Wealthy people put money to work for them. Third, increase your earning ability. While cutting expenses is important, there's a limit to how much you can cut. There's no limit to how much you can earn if you focus on increasing your value to the marketplace. Fourth, protect what you build. Use legal structures, insurance, and diversification to guard against losses. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. Building wealth takes time. It's not about get-rich-quick schemes or lucky breaks. It's about consistent application of sound principles over decades. Force yourself to be patient. Force yourself to think long-term. The rewards are worth it. The fulfillment of contribution. As we talk about success, let's not forget its ultimate purpose, contribution. The ability to make a difference, to leave the world better than you found it. True wealth isn't measured just in dollars, but in impact. How many lives have you touched? How many problems have you solved? How much better is the world because you were here? I've found that the most fulfilled people are those who use their success as a platform for service. They understand that we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. This doesn't mean you have to wait until you're successful to contribute. You can start right where you are. Volunteer your time. Share your knowledge. Be generous with encouragement. Small acts of service, perform consistently. Create ripples that spread far beyond what you can see. And here's what's fascinating. Contribution accelerates success. When you focus on adding value to others' lives, your own life improves. When you help others get what they want, you end up getting what you want. It's one of those beautiful paradoxes of life. The habit of persistence. Let me talk about persistence. Persistence is the iron quality of success. It's the ability to keep going when the novelty has worn off, when the excitement has faded, when the initial motivation has waned. Most people quit too soon. They start with enthusiasm but give up at the first sign of difficulty. They don't realize that often the darkest moment comes just before the dawn. They don't understand that failure is not final unless you stop trying. I've studied successful people for decades, and I found that their paths to success were rarely straight lines. They faced setbacks, rejections, and failures, sometimes spectacular failures. What set them apart wasn't an absence of obstacles, but their response to those obstacles. Persistence doesn't mean blindly doing the same thing over and over. It means maintaining your goal while being flexible about your approach. If one method doesn't work, try another. If one door closes, look for another. If one business fails, learn from it and start a new one. The quality of persistence comes from having a big enough why. When your reasons are strong enough, you'll find a way. When your commitment to a better future outweighs your comfort in the present, you'll persevere through any difficulty. The discipline of daily habits. Success is created through daily habits. It's not about grand, heroic gestures, but about consistent, seemingly small actions performed day after day. Your habits shape your life more than you realize. Successful people don't have different abilities, they have different habits. They've learned to force themselves to do what unsuccessful people are unwilling to do. The key is to focus on habits that produce compound returns. The habit of early rising gives you quiet, productive hours while the world sleeps. The habit of reading expands your knowledge and perspective continuously. The habit of exercise builds energy and vitality that fuels everything else. The habit of planning ensures you focus on priorities rather than reacting to whatever comes up. The habit of tracking progress keeps you accountable and motivated. These might not seem exciting or glamorous, but their cumulative effect is extraordinary. Force yourself to establish these habits, and they will eventually force success upon you. The power of decisiveness. Let me share something important about decisions. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your decisions. And the most important decision you'll ever make is to be a person of action, someone who doesn't just know what to do but actually does it. Many people suffer from analysis paralysis. They gather information endlessly but never pull the trigger. They want perfect certainty before moving forward, but certainty is an illusion. The most successful people aren't those who have perfect information. They're those who make the best decisions they can with the information they have and then act. I've found that making a wrong decision is often better than making no decision at all. Wrong decisions can be corrected. Action leads nowhere. Force yourself to be decisive. Force yourself to commit. Force yourself to act even when you're afraid. This one discipline alone can transform your results dramatically. The promise of a worthy future. As we near the end of our time together, I want to share a profound truth. Your future is created by what you do today, not tomorrow. Many people live in a perpetual someday. Someday I'll start that business. Someday I'll get in shape. Someday I'll repair that relationship. But someday isn't a day of the week. Unless you're taking action today, someday will never arrive. The good news is that it's never too late to begin. No matter your age, your background, your past failures, or your current circumstances, you can start building a better future right now, today, with the very next decision you make. Force yourself to take that first step. Force yourself to continue when it gets difficult. Force yourself to persist until you succeed. The life you create through these efforts will be worth every ounce of discipline it requires. Conclusion, the ultimate choice. In closing, let me leave you with this thought. Life offers no guarantees. Success isn't promised to anyone. What life does offer is opportunity, the opportunity to become more, to contribute more, to achieve more than you ever thought possible. The choice is yours. Will you force yourself to work hard? Will you push past comfort to growth? Will you invest in yourself when others are squandering their resources? Will you persist when others quit? These aren't just theoretical questions. Your answers, demonstrated through your actions, will determine the quality of your life more surely than any external circumstance ever could. I believe in you. I believe in your potential. I believe that within you lies greatness waiting to be expressed. But belief isn't enough. Action is required. Discipline, consistent action over time. Force yourself to work hard, not for work's sake, but for the sake of the person you'll become through that work. Force yourself to grow, to learn, to contribute, to persist. The rewards, not just financial but personal, will exceed your greatest expectations. Thank you for your time and attention. Now go make something wonderful happen. The world is waiting for your contribution.